Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I am Ayotunde Balogun. Coming up on the program. Court orders final forfeiture of Diezani's funds as protesters demand her extradition from the United Kingdom. Anambra State PDP holds governorship primaries. And Lagos State begins statewide demolition of distressed buildings. The Federal High Court has ordered the final forfeiture of over 7.6 billion naira said to have been illegally kept in Sterling Bank PLC, allegedly by former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Mrs. Diezani Alison Madueke. Now, the court had on August the 9th this year ordered the interim forfeiture of the sum said to have been illegally kept in Sterling Bank PLC. Now, the order granted by the vacation judge, Justice Chuka Obiozo, followed an ex parte application argued before him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC also alleged that Mrs. Alison Madueke stashed the money in 3 banks, and the federal government had since February last year, through an order granted by another judge, Justice Muslim Hassan, also of the Federal High Court, recovered part of the money from the other banks. This follows the final forfeiture to the federal government of more funds and properties worth billions of naira linked to the former minister, including choice properties in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Meanwhile, members of the Concerned Nigerians group have returned to the streets of the nation's capital of Abuja, this time to demand the repatriation of the former Minister of Petroleum, Diezani Alison Madueke. The group, led by musician Charles Oputa, popularly called Charlie Boy, has taken its protest to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, asking that the former petroleum minister be sent back from the UK to face charges of corruption. For about 10 days, the Concerned Nigerian group protested in Abuja, asking that President Muhammadu Buhari, who was in London on medical vacation, return or resign his position. The group was countered by another one, which also staged protests in the nation's capital in support of the president.
Alleged of stealing billions of
marched through the streets of Efron requesting the unused army barracks land allegedly taken by the Nigerian army be returned to them. According to the traditional ruler of the community, the piece of land lying inside the 3-battalion barracks, Efron, situated along the NPA expressway with high-rising profile houses, was willingly given to the army about 40 years ago for the purpose of the construction of a defense academy. The community further claims that rather than keep to this purpose, the army allegedly is converting the land for other purposes not beneficial to the community. Angry market men and women protesting as the Edo State Public Works Department begins the demolition of illegal structures around the new Benin market. This exercise was being held to remove street traders and reduce traffic congestion around the market. Enforcement officers who carried out similar cleanups at the King Square, an Oba market and Etiosa market told the traders that arrests and prosecution of illegal shop owners will commence from 3 p.m. today if they're found near the facility. Enter politics now, where accreditation of delegates has commenced at the Anambra governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party holding in Awka, the state capital. Now, the PDP is to decide today who will be its candidate in the governorship election scheduled for November the 18th this year. Now, 6 candidates are to battle for the party's governorship ticket. They are Ifeanyi Uba, Oselo Kaubaze, Stella Odua, Alex Obi-Ogbolu, John Emeka, and Linda Ikpeazu. Meanwhile, the member of the party's electoral committee and governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, and the commissioner of police in the state have been speaking on the exercise.
Security agencies in the state are united to ensure that there is free and fair primaries in the state. We now call on all aspirants to do as much as they can to convince their supporters on the need to maintain peace and order. The security agencies will not hesitate to deal with anybody who wants to foment trouble or disrupt this peaceful process. We count on your cooperation. We have done so many primaries, and this is not different from what we have done. And we expect and project a successful primaries.
We are here just to do something very simple and straightforward. We have the delegate list from Abuja, and that's what we are following. We'll do everything humanly possible, not just to be transparent, but to be seen to be extremely transparent. Whatsoever they have with the list, I don't think we know what they are actually arguing for. All the same, we are human beings. If you have a genuine excuse, we'll look at it. And this is also simple majority kind of result that we'll adopt. If something is so material, we'll include it in our report. But if it's not material, certain things could be very material in situations like this, and you must include in your report.
Well, there are divergent views regarding what Nigeria must do to make progress, but the governors of the South, South and Southeast region of the country are insisting that the country should adopt regional governance. They are also advocating socio-economic integration and political alignment in their regions to fast-track development. These were part of the resolutions reached at the second meeting of the governors in Port Harcourt, which lasted to the early hours of today. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Array, reports.
Some governors of the states in the South, South and the Southeast exchanged pleasantries on arrival for their meeting in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. The host governor, Nyesom Wike, leads his guests to the brick house section of the state government house, perhaps to get them ready for the meeting. It's now time for serious business, as the governors and some deputies assemble for what is to be a crucial meeting.
There is the reality of the dearth of infrastructure in this our region, especially federal roads in the two regions. Indeed, federal presence in the regions is very minimal and only noticeable in the presence of policemen. Regrettably, we, especially the South-South region and the Southeast, are also the cash cow of the federal government.
Let us be confident in the rightness of our cause and clear in our considerations that we have been and will continue to be worse off without the will to exploit our political and economic complementarities to drive our ways into political, economic, and social prosperity. Above all, we must continue to demand for the devolution of powers and resources to the states, as well as the institutionalization of state police. Now there is national consensus on these issues.
And after all said and done, the chairman of the forum touches on some areas of interest, reaffirming their commitment to the unity of the country.
Nigeria is a country that we all love and we all have a passion for, and that we'll do everything to maintain the unity and oneness in this country. We also touch on certain issues concerning the current review of Constitution, and that would actually let our position known, which will put it down in writing and then communicate to the entire country in due course.
The governors also condemned the use of hate speeches in individual communication and by political actors. 7 governors and 4 deputy governors were in attendance, with the next meeting scheduled to hold in Owerri, the Imo State capital, on October the 8th. Emmanuel Irei, Channels Television News.
Coming up after the break, the Governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, orders the demolition of illegal structures. Details after this. Stay with us.